Good afternoon, friends, Lilligans, anti-novelists, curious onlookers. Everyone's welcome in the library. Today we're having a look at my lovely reading nook. I've got the curtains pulled because it is blazing hot. I think the heat index is like 113. Yikes! As soon as I finish this video, I will be sitting in that chair, indulging in a little bit of reading. But first, the business at hand. Today, I want to show you a chapter that I've been working on and talk you a little bit through how the writing process is going in the library. So I can report currently 25,862 words in the Zettelkasten for fiction book. So I am cruising right along at an amazingly nice clip. So let's look over here and let's talk about my numbering system. I've gotten a few questions about this. So I'm going to show you a little peek into chapter 1 where I talk about setting up your system. So in my note box, the numbers 7001 through 724 contain my plot box. So there are a total of 32 cards actually, because I include the 8 plot points on top of these 24 prompts. So there's 32 cards that make up the placeholders for when I'm slotting scenes in for my plot. Then, let's look closer at this. My main female character, Dr. Tara Kaler, I gave the main number 7110. So, everything that follows within her part of the story world is under that 7110 mark. So, 7110/A through 7110/N are my character development cards, and there is a whole chapter on that over in part 2. 7111.A is Tara's mom. Okay, so 7110 is Tara, 7111.A is her mom, and .B is her dad. So see how I just went to the next number under her and gave that to her parents. Then 7112A through N is Tara's best friend and coworker, Chad. So in the same way that I built her A through N character development cards, I did the same thing for Chad. And since he's the next most important person in her life, I just gave him the next number under her parents, which is 7112. Now let's look at my male character. Because Tara is 7110, I gave my main male character 7120. So see how I just spread those out in quantity of 10 increments? That's my logic. That works for me, makes sense to me, so that's what I did. The first letter under him, the .A, that is his mom and dad, okay? So where Tara's parents each get a letter because they have more developed stories, at this part of the book, where at the point at which I'm writing, Branch's parents are only talked about in the story in flashbacks and together. So they just get one card and anything I need to record about them will go there. Eventually, I will break them out into an A and B for dad and mom, just like I did up above. Take a note here. Card number 7120.1 is blank. I forgot to make a .1 card. Not a big deal. The Zettelkasten is very forgiving. I just left that one blank because the next card I created was 7120.2, Charlotte, which is Branch's first love before he goes off to the war. So that's okay. It doesn't matter that there's no card there. I just make a note that there's nothing there and keep on rolling. 7120.2/A is a scene reminder about something involving Charlotte and a potential flashback from the present into the past. So not only am I including the people that populate this character's world, but I'm also including reminders to myself about scenes or ideas. Sometimes I'll put setting information in a card and slot it in here. Sometimes rather than putting that here, let's say for example, I already have a sense that this scene, which I know is a flashback, is going to need to happen somewhere around the middle of the novel. Easy peasy. I would just go up to my plot box, which is the 7001 through 24 cards. I would find the area in those plot points where I believe this scene could go, and then I would just drop that card into the plot box. The plot box becomes the placeholder for those scenes as I'm sequencing the story. And then finally, 7130 through 31, that is my main story villain, gets 7130 and 31 because there's several people that populate that world. So see how things move around and through one another? Up in the introduction, I wrote a section on how the Zettelkasten represents a series of infinite and looping rings. You're always going from your index over to your main cards, and then maybe from your main cards over to a bib card, and that bib card sends you back to your index, and then maybe you pop over to your plot box because you need to throw a couple of scenes in that you thought of, and then maybe you go back to your index because you need to look up something about that scene, and that sends you back to your main cards. So see, it is a constantly evolving circle of workflow that wraps over and around and behind and underneath itself, but it all serves the purpose of getting your story sequenced, capturing those character details, and then getting the writing done so that you've got the words on the page. So that concludes today's look at where the Zettelkasten for Fiction book is. I'm so excited to share this with you. It's going to be great. It's going to be an epic tome of useful tools and everything I can think of to throw in there to help you get your writing done. So I will leave you there for today. I've had a great day. I'm going to go enjoy my little reading chair and indulge in some fiction of my own, because you should always keep up on your genre so that you know if you're writing in the middle or out in the margins of the things that are popular in your genre. So I'm going to go do that. I will see you all tomorrow.